Hello, my name is Vic. Welcome to episode 15 of Vicsplaining. Thank you so much for coming back. Oh, this is my podcast. But you knew that. I'm in a bit of a mood because I've already done this intro and I did like 10 minutes of recording. And then I realized that the video part was not recording. So part of moving into video is dealing with this constant awkward, is it recording? Making sure that it's recording. I was like looking at it. I was looking at my audio the whole time and I was like, something about this is different than the last time. But it's okay. We're back. I have confirmed that I have the video portion recording in my face right now. So anyway, welcome back to Vicsplaining. There is just so much to go over. I made an entire outline and I intended on recording last week. And then you won't get this, guy. You won't believe this, guys. I was freaking hospitalized. And it's so funny because, I've been on my cringe is dead shit. So I haven't. So I've been reading a lot of fan fiction, as you guys know, as I've talked about on this podcast before. And I finally started writing my own. I actually started writing my own at the beginning of this year, but I finally started getting back into it because I've taken some time off of work. Work has been stressing me out like crazy. In general, living in America in 2025, having who we have in the White House, dealing with this administration, dealing with the constant attacks against queer people and Black people and trans people. I've been trying to finish all my personal projects. I'm working on some things in academia. I'm still speaking at conferences. I'm still doing things for my day job. And I just wanted to take a load off. And so I started writing fan fiction again in earnest, like genuinely writing fan fiction, feeling good about it. And if you read on Archive of Our Own or AO3, you'll know where I'm going with this. I have never actually believed in the AO3 author curse, but I don't even remember the last time I was hospitalized. Like for real. Maybe it was back when I was a teenager and I had shingles. No. Is that really the last time? Yeah, I think that's the only time I've ever been hospitalized was when I had shingles as a teenager, and that is a whole other story. If you're listening and you're thinking, Vic, are you talking about the old people disease? Yes, I had shingles when I was like 14 or 15. I have the scar to prove it, and I have the note that I had to give my gym teacher, which if you know me, I was happy to give up that note. You're telling me I don't have to do any of the sports and I just have to walk the mile? Excellent. I gave it to him and he said, "What the shingles?" I know. And before you ask, I'm fully vaccinated for chickenpox and everything. I have no idea why I got shingles. But I think that's the last time I ever got hospitalized. I start writing this freaking fan fiction. All of a sudden, boom, I'm in the hospital. So I was hospitalized last week. So a lot of the things that I have on my list of things to go over may feel a little dated. And I believe the last time I talked to you guys was at the beginning of the month. So when I tell you this month tried to take me out physically, mentally, emotionally, bruh, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff to tell you guys about. So for one, let's start at the most tame and then we'll get into some of the harder stuff. So checking again to make sure I'm being recorded. Okay, yes. Okay. So first of all, against my better judgment, I won't say my better judgment. I'm trying my hardest to stop. I don't know how to say this in a way that doesn't sound dismissive of my very real and very true concerns, but I think that I think we can hold multiple truths at one time, okay? For on the one hand, we can hold that we make certain choices that are in our values and we make those choices consistently every day. And on the other hand, I don't know how good it is for my mental health as a person with OCD, specifically moral related OCD, to continuously categorize everything I do into a good action and a bad action, okay? I'm saying all this to premise the fact that I'm trying not to put as many value judgments to the fact that I went to see Beyonce earlier this month. Do I personally feel any type of way about me or anybody else seeing Beyonce? No, I don't. But I do understand the hesitations that many people have around her as a person, as an artist, if you want to call her that, because it it in the midst of a genocide to have a such a okay, to have such a politically charged album, even though I don't even think that the story behind Cowboy Carter is that, like, overtly pro-American. It's definitely political. Anybody that tells you that it's not political is I'm sorry, they have rocks for brains. It's very, very political. But I think the confusion is coming in with the fact that it is not a pro-American work. It's an attempt at reclamation. But the issue is that Black Americans, African Americans, whatever you want to call us, very specifically, especially Black Americans that have some sense of socioeconomic value, meaning that perhaps they were born into uh wealth, or they have climbed the ladder, whether that's through education or through occupational success, into a state of socioeconomic comfort. I think that we operate discursively as very useful idiots. And what I mean by that is not to say that Black people are idiots, but more so that often the West as a whole, but especially America, is able to hide a lot of their crimes behind the success of Black Americans. So America doesn't have to give us reparations because there are examples of Black people in the media, such as Beyonce, who are able to say, well, this person has surpassed the odds and is able to do XYZ. This person is able to reclaim America and see it as a place that, yes, it has all this pain involved, but it also has a lot of joy as well. I think that discursively, Black people work as a kind of a gray area for a lot of people who are trying to talk about imperialism and micronationalism, myself included. And I didn't feel great um, going to the concert. When I was in the concert, I felt awesome. I'm not gonna lie to you. But it is weird in the midst of a genocide, in the midst of like a bunch of other shit that's going on um politically, globally. It doesn't feel great to be an American. To be surrounded by all those American flags and, cowboy hats and all this other kind of stuff. It felt kind of icky, even though I know that most of the people in the room are usually at the very least left of liberal. Well, most of the time. But yeah, so I said I all that pretense to say. Originally, I was not going to see Beyonce. I don't follow Beyonce on social media anymore. I'm not like I listen to her music and I am a very big Beyonce fan. There's nothing in this room, but in my main living room, I have a big poster of Beyonce. I don't just like stream her music. I also have her like physical vinyl, CDs, etc. Like I really do enjoy her music. I've enjoyed her music for the better part of my life cuz her career spans my entire life basically. I've been listening to her since she was in Destiny's Child. Like I'm a very big Beyonce fan. So just on a pure music standpoint, I did want to see her, but politically I was kind of hesitant. Then my friends came to me and they told me, hey, get your ticket. We're all going to be in a section. And that really intrigued me because I've seen Beyonce two other times, but both times have been with my partners. Once was with an ex, and the other time was the Renaissance World Tour with my current partner. And those were fun, but to be in that space with friends is like a completely different electric feeling. Like I loved being there with my friends, being there with people who really, really, not that my ex and my current partner, not that they don't fuck with Beyonce, they definitely do, especially my ex was a very big fan of Beyonce, but it's something about being there with your friends that just it's just different. I really, really loved being there. I had a great time. Oh, the most annoying thing happened though. I saw somebody from high school and they called out my legal name to me, and I didn't turn around because nobody calls me that name. And then when I did, I was like, "Oh, I don't go by that name anymore, but it's good to see you." And they were just like, "Remember me? Yes, that's why I'm acknowledging you. Hello." And I apologize if you see this, but it's just very it was the weirdest thing to happen to me in the middle of cramming into the MARTA to get home, you know? Um yeah, that was a real blast from the past, but I hope you're doing good. I'm sure you won't see this, but I hope you're doing well. I know you're doing well. I've seen you on social media. You're doing awesome. But so yeah, I saw Beyonce. That was probably the last normal day that I had. Um I'm not going to put my partner's business out there, but my partner has been through a few things, and then it just like hit after hit after hit after hit just started coming at me. I had a lot of weird things happen. Um, Here's a good weird thing. I am in a server for my friend runs a server, and I just go to whatever they do. I don't, it's so funny. So my friend is a content creator, and I'm not, well, okay. I'll tell you a little bit about what they do. They do like ASMR, right? Like vocal ASMR, and not my thing. But I'm friends with this person, and I have been friends with this person for about half a decade. And so anytime they make a new Discord server, I just hop into the server. I'm just invited. And so I know everybody else there is like a fan of this person. I mean, they have a few friends in there, but like for the most part, most of the people are fans of this person. Meanwhile, I'm just there, and I was talking in the server, and there was somebody else there, and they were like, we were talking about having a potential game night, and the person was like, "Oh yeah, you should come to our game night." And I was like, "I would love to, but I have a concert to go to on Friday." And somebody else was like, "What concert are you going to?" "I'm going to see Beyonce this weekend." And I said, "Oh, you must be in Atlanta because she's here all weekend." And that's how I found out that I am in that same server with somebody else here in town. So that was super cool. We met up and they invited me to this event. Y'all, so y'all know Boiler Room. Fuck them. They love Israel. Free Palestine always. But you guys know Boiler Room, the EDM fest kind of thing. That's like they invite, like, I don't think it's strictly EDM, but all the people that I have watched that do Boiler Room are EDM artists, like Charlie XCX, Horse Girl, Zach Fox. Has Kate Renata done a EDM? I don't know, but all these people do EDM fest, and they do a set, and a bunch of people cram in a room around them, and like it's really wild, crazy. I really like it. When I told my mom, she said ew. My mom says ew to everything. My mom hates everything. Mom, if you're listening to this, lighten up. Damn. But so anyways, like I get why she was saying ew, but like she never gives anything I like a chance. Like it's just like, you know what? Love you. We can never go out together because you just don't like anything. But anyway, so Boiler Room. Obviously, we're not going to Boiler Room or watching any of their sets because they support Israel. Got it, got it, got it. They had a thing, it's not here, it travels around the US, called Uhauler Room for lesbians. So sapphic people, but mainly lesbians. Because the stereotype of U-hauling. And so I went to U-hauler room and met this person, and it was so cute. It was a literal U-haul. The DJ is in a U-haul, and everybody's just dancing. And there were so many gay people. There was hookah, and I love hookah. I am a sucker for some hookah. And I was having a real good time. So that was a good weird thing that happened. And then I was hospitalized, which was a bad weird thing if you need to keep score or value judgments. Um, and then shortly after being hospitalized, we had a surprise party for my friend, and that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. It was just kind of like a thing. Like, it was just like, I have been dreading this surprise party for the longest time. For one, I hate surprises. I absolutely hate surprises. That will not surprise you hearing this from somebody with OCD and hearing this from somebody that like has such great anxiety. I hate being surprised. Everything is planned. I have multiple calendars. I have my Google calendar. Like, I need to know what's happening when. I can take some spontaneity, but it has to be controlled spontaneity. Nothing nothing ridiculous, okay? And this surprise party had a flash mob. And when I tell you I have been so stressed about this, we've been planning this for months and I have been so stressed about this party. Oh my god, for weeks. Like, the anxiety has absolutely like, oh my gosh, it was making my head hurt, it was making my stomach hurt, it was horrible. I was definitely building it up more in my head. I told my friend this now that the surprise is out, but like, I told my friend this in the moment where I was like, I was anticipating like when I hear flash mob, and it could just be because I was raised in the early 2000s, I think of like 2012 Gundam style, Harlem Shake. I'm walking through the mall and I just want to go to Lush to get a bath bomb, but there are 20 people in like yellow jumpsuits going like this and screaming at. So I was very like, I my anxiety was through the roof. Like, I was telling another one of my friends this because I don't think I've ever like talked about like in explicit detail how my proposal went, but aside from the fact that my fiance had us walk nearly 20,000 steps to get to the proposal area, um the proposal area, the place that we got engaged in is the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco. And if you've ever been there, it's a very, very, very large structure. Already my anxiety is like on 10, right? There's a big center where you can see everything on the ceiling. And then if you go out a little more, there's a little clearing where people sit around on their benches or whatever, and you can kind of oversee San Francisco. And as I was walking up, my anxiety was building and building because I knew at that point that he was going to propose, but I didn't know if he was going to do it in the middle of the structure or out in the clearing. And he could see it on my face. And so he decided to propose to me in the middle of the sidewalk very quickly. Knee was on the ground for all of 2 seconds, and I was like, why did you do that?" And he's told me, "Because I can tell that you were gonna freak out if everybody's eyes were on us, and so I just wanted to in and out." So, part of me really enjoys that because I feel so seen, because I hate big spectacles and big nonsense and everybody coming up and say, please stop, stop." I don't like everyone looking at me. There was a point in my life, I think, that I was okay with it, and I think it was like post COVID, I got nerfed with anxiety bad. I didn't like surprises before, but post COVID, I'm like, look, no funny shit. Nothing's funny, okay? I haven't smiled once for real since like, I don't know, since March 2020. So let's wrap this shit up. So yeah, I'm not a big surprise person, so that was really racking my brain, racking my nerves. I literally dreaded every closer day. And then it happened in the moment and it wasn't that bad. It was not 2012. Um, you know, it wasn't who is that presidential candidate that I hate? Oh my gosh, that little rat that I hate. Pete Buttigieg. His people that would do the little high hopes. I hate. That's the kind of shit that I thought was gonna happen. I was so scared. It was kind of giving Glee a little bit, and I definitely still wasn't having a great time. Um, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Um, and the birthday girl really liked it. So I, How bad could it be? But the point is it was just like hit after hit after hit after hit. And then if things just keep coming and coming and coming. It's just so frustrating. Then I had a death in the family. And I was like, "Damn." And I've just been adjusting my life to all the other nonsense, and then on top of that, grief, and grief is so unplanned. There's no way to, even if it's a death that you anticipate, which this one was not, but even if it's a death that you anticipate, it's never something that you can just, well, I'm done mourning that person. I never have to think about that again. It's like, it just, you just grow around your grief. You never actually get past it. And so I have just had such a month of nonsense. And this isn't even talking about all the shit in the news. This is just my life. This is just my everyday life. Um so yeah, that's what's been going on the past few weeks. I don't want to jinx anything, knock on wood, but I'm really hoping that August is a lot more uneventful. What I want to talk about next. Hey, did hey guys. Um did you guys see that Coldplay? This is kind of niche. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you've seen it. I'm on the cutting edge of content and conversation. Maybe two or three people have seen this, but did you guys know that there was a cheating scandal at a Coldplay concert recently? I know. Little niche. I don't know if you've heard of it. Oh my God, dude, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. I have seen more images of that couple than I've seen my mother's face. I don't know what they did in a past life to bring on the wrath of whatever deity, spirit, or energy they disturbed. But that image of them hugged up at the Coldplay concert has been everywhere. I can't escape it. I can't escape it. It got so unfunny so fast. It got so unfunny so fast. Ugh. Okay. So, if for whatever reason you have not seen this situation, basically, okay. Oh, that's cool. They have a new CEO. But basically, the whole thing is that the CEO of a company called Astronomer was at a concert. Is this the name of the girl? Is this the name of the woman before I. Excuse me. Ooh. Yes, okay. Okay. So the company is called Astronomer. It's an airflow company, I think. Hold on. What do they actually do? This is great PR for them. A lot of people were saying that, like, oh, this is just a PR stunt. I don't think it is. I got to be honest. Oh, it's a software company. Okay. I don't actually, okay, I'm not like smart enough to understand what the hell is going on, like what they do. But basically, company is called Astronomer. The CEO of the company was named Andy Byron. The head of HR for the company is named Kristen Cabot. Cabot or Cabot? I think it's Cabot. And they went to a Coldplay concert, which is so white. This is such a white. I'm all in white people's business. But basically, Andy is holding Kristen like, two teenagers would when they're waiting in the line for a roller coaster at Disneyland. And the kiss cam gets over to them. And they freak out. Like Andy's arms go like this, Kristen's like, "Oh my gosh." And it's like if they didn't do all that, nobody would know that they were having an affair. But because they did all that, everyone was like, "Oh." Even the guy Chris Martin from Coldplay was like, "Uh-oh. Either they're really shy or they're having an affair." And I so badly want to be in the text group chats, signal chats, whatever came about, because I know that I know that made somebody's day that works at Astronomer specifically. I know everybody's been having their fun, but I can't imagine the people that hated their head of HR waking up and seeing that everywhere. That must have been hilarious. Just please let me in your group chats. I want to know what happened. I want to know the nonsense. Send me the screenshots. I don't know. So, oh, okay. So they do like AI and data solutions. Ew, barf. Fake job. I have a fake job too, but like that's the fakest job. Anything related to AI, I'm like, whatever. Um, but anyways, I don't actually want to talk about the scandal itself because I there's so little I can say about it. Um, Even the way that they're going about it is really corny. They hired Gwyneth Paltrow to like talk about the scandal to address people because Gwyneth Paltrow is the ex-wife of the Coldplay dude. All right. You got the goop lady. Who cares? Like I can't people are dying. Like I can't think of anything more out of touch. And then as I was just Googling it, they're like, Ryan Reynolds had a hand in this. Yeah, it stinks of him. I'm saying this as a Deadpool fan. It stinks of him. This is so fucking corny. Who would care? Who cares? I can't think of anything. Ugh, I hate it when something genuinely fucking hilarious happens and the company involved tries to get on the joke. They're like, "Oh, we're going to lean fully in." I know that's the way that you go about diffusing the tension and I know that that's like a PR like good thing to do. It's so corny. And yes, I have given voice to the company. We looked up what they do, and, like, I guess they got a little airtime for free here at Vicsplaining, but if this nobody's like, "Wow, they used Gwyneth Paltrow. That was really clever. I'm gonna use them for my" who gives a shit? Oh my god. This thing will be out of business within the next 2 years, and you can quote me on that. Like, who cares? Um But anyway, this is a podcast that's about my thoughts and feelings, of course, but what is paramount to me is sexuality and gender. Always, always, always. And so I don't actually give a shit about the scandal. What I give a shit about is the way that people have reacted to it has been so interesting. And I need you to follow me. I need you to follow me. Okay, lock in. Because I saw a very funny video on Reels, Instagram Reels. And the caption said what the astronomer CEO's affair felt like before the Coldplay scandal. And it was just like the man and the woman from the Notebook like looking into each other's eyes, running on the beach, like the rain's coming down, like very, very intense. And I thought it was hilarious. So I liked the video. And I can't resist whenever I'm on TikTok or whenever I'm on Instagram Reels, I gotta read those comments because sometimes the comments be funnier than the video. I'm in the freaking comments and I don't know if this person is like 3 years old, but they're like, "So we're romanticizing cheating now?" Like what are we talking about? Is reading comprehension dead? Is everyone just does And I get it because COVID is still running rampant. Maybe you just have the most intense brain fog in the world and you just aren't able to make the connections between. First off, nobody romanticized cheating in this conversation. They said how the affair felt prior to being caught. Okay? First of all. Second of all, even if they did, I know this is hard for anybody to hear, but at the core of most infidelity is romance. Regardless of if it's right or wrong, that's still kind of the play there. Whether that's physical romance or emotional romance, a lot of the issue that comes with it is the scandal and the taboo. And it's just like, are we not able to like, I don't know. This is something that I've noticed a lot when we talk about things that are peculiar. Things can't be different anymore. Things can't be, oh, this is I've heard of this and I don't like it and it's not for me. They can't be that anymore. They're either good or bad. So there's good relationships which are monogamous, usually heterosexual, between two cisgender people, between two able-bodied people. And then anything outside of that is nasty and bad. And before you start, I am not saying that we should normalize cheating or that cheating is a good thing or anything like that. But we should still acknowledge the fact that it exists. Because, for one, it's a very big porn category. Like, a lot of people are into that. Not necessarily that they would do it to other people or do it to their own partners, but they're into the taboo related to cheating. It's the reason a lot of your parents are broken up, mine included. They like the nonsense. I'm not saying that they should normalize it or that the person being cheated on shouldn't be upset or that anything like that. But it's weird the ways in which people have gotten so puritanical that they can't even acknowledge that these differences exist. Like, is the guy a scumbag for cheating on his wife? Yes, 100%. But he knew that when he was doing it. That's part of the joy that he got out of it. Like, it's not even some people. Everybody's different. Everybody's different. Some people, it's really a situation of, they're in a relationship and they're not happy, but they're so passive aggressive that they're not going to tell the other person that they're not happy. So they just start dating or having sex with somebody else. And then they're like, oh, whatever happens, happens. I don't care about that. That's shitty, There's no non-shitty way to cheat on somebody. But then there's the people who genuinely get off on that shit. Like they like the taboo. They like the scandal. They like the nonsense. They like the fact that they have to be secretive. They like the fact that they have to have two phones or they have to, make different accounts or they're getting over on their partner. And is it psychologically disturbing? Sure. But the way that people, and I say people, it's this one comment, but it's a comment that I've seen on a lot of other things. There's another example. The song Glimpse of Us by Joji. I love Joji. I don't like Filthy Frank, but I love Joji. I love the direction he's going in. Um and I love his more somber music. I really like his song Glimpse of Us, not because I am currently in this situation. I badly love my partner. I'm very, very obsessed with them. However, I have been in situations where it's like, man, it sucks that I can't move forward with this person and now I'm with this person and now it's like I'm looking for a glimpse of that in this person. And there are people in the comments that are like, I can't even understand this song. It's so rude to do this to someone. Rude, maybe, but this is still somebody's experience. Do you get where I'm coming from? It's like at a point now where if we keep up this rhetoric, especially because we've already seen it starting with this Project 2025 shit and with what's it called? All the censorship that's been happening. You know, Republicans want any reason to ban a book from school or go through with a book burning or anything like that. And one of their biggest things that they've been doing is censoring porn. And what is it called? Oh my gosh, I can't pronounce it. What is it? Oh my gosh. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, itch.io. Um, their games. So if you're a PC real gamer like I am, you'll recognize the name itch.io. They do a lot of like I get a lot of my Sims 4 mods from there, but they also have a lot of indie games. And Steam is the same way. And you can download whatever games that you want whenever you want. So there was a game that was making the rounds, I want to say like a month or 2 months ago, called No Mercy, which was an adult visual novel. An adult visual novel is just like a click through kind of story that's interactive. So the choices that you make matter. But it's adult. So it has adult themes. Sometimes that means explicit sex, sometimes that means drugs, things like that. I play a lot of adult visual novels. Not necessarily for the sex part, but hey, the sex part doesn't it don't hurt. I mostly just really like if you've ever played like Episode, for example, like on the mobile game, it's basically like that, but with more adult shit. So things aren't censored. You can cuss. You can. It's fun. I enjoy them. I get really into the stories. I know there are people that are just jacking off to it all the time. That's not me. I just like a good story, and I'm an adult. I can look at titties. You know what I mean? But anyway, so No Mercy was an adult visual novel, but the person who made the game made it so you like one of the goals of the game is to literally rape somebody in the game. Fucked up. And it got it got shut down really quickly. But unfortunately, because of this game and because of the backlash against it, and this was everywhere, this was all over like mainstream social media and stuff like that. And I've never seen not like adult visual novels really talked about on that big of a scale. Even the adult visual novels that I play, the most conversation I see about them is usually on Reddit, you know, likely suspects. But anyways, so this game gets taken off of everything and people are talking about how abhorrent and disgusting and horrible it is and everything. And that's how these payment companies got in their loophole, and they went to itch.io and they went to Steam and they were like, "Hey, people take payments for these games and or they pay for these games. We are not going to be able to process your payments and give money to these creators if you keep holding games like this on your websites and I don't or your platforms." And when they say games like this, they don't mean games that have rape and other abhorrent material. They mean all sexual content or adult content whatsoever. And there's the slippery slope again. It's like, do I think that people should be purchasing a game where they literally role play raping someone? No, obviously not. However, in the eyes of these people that are super like protect the children or like censor certain part, like they're so obsessed with censorship to the point that they will get you to agree with the evangelicals and the nuns and the trans exclusionary radical feminist and all the other people who are like, you can't even see like below somebody's waist without wanting to violently harm someone, or you can't make healthy connections if you look at a butthole or whatever. The censorship is crazy. And the rhetoric that I've seen, again, you see how far off from the main topic that we've gotten. The rhetoric that I have seen as a result from this scandal reflects a lot of that. I've seen a lot of conversations about how degenerate and disgusting and it's like this is what creates a culture obsessed with repression. You understand when you consistently have to bury and this and I'm speaking as someone who doesn't watch pornography. It's like this is the reason that there are so many people who are just so cagey and strange around sex and differences of I don't know if I'm making any sense. What I want to clarify is that I am not defending I'm not defending any of the behaviors that I'm talking about, not the things related to the Joji song, not the Coldplay cheating scandal, not the rape game. I'm not defending any of those things. But what I'm saying is that the purity culture that is developed around a lot of these mainstream ideas has in turn made it easier to censor other aspects. I was talking about fan fiction earlier. They constantly come for AO3. Constantly, because they don't want people engaging with materials that they see as obscene. It's the sex panics all over again. We have a new sex panic every single freaking, like, I say every 10 years, but really it's coming around to every 2 years. It's something different. And speaking specifically to the No Mercy game again, it's really been weird as somebody who already like plays adult visual novels to see the level of like conversation around some of these games. It's like, guys, so like I don't think that game should be sold anywhere. And I think it's disturbing the way that they wrote it and everything, but it's like it is a very slippery slope to say like this needs to be censored and all the rest of you too. It's just like I don't know. I've seen more conversations around, here's people who are normal and here are the freaks, or here are the people who are gay properly and here are the queers. You know what I mean? It's just like, dude, do you hear how you sound? Like there there is a way to portray all sex acts, all paraphilias, all like interest in anything related to sensuality as inherently obscene. And it's scaring me how not only sensitive and censored the internet is becoming, but how normalized the rhetoric around this idea has become. Um, what is another example? Oh, people always talking about pegging, like jokingly. I understand that, like, in the straight world, it's emasculating to be pegged, and like talking about like that kind of sex act is kind of a punchline because, oh my gosh, who actually gets pegged? But it's like anal sex is not like, are we okay? Like, anal sex is not, you know, a punchline or like a, and I've just seen so much rhetoric around it that's like, "Oh my gosh, only the real freaked out are like into this or whatever." It's like, you know, when y'all start separating the normal people from the freaks, let me know where the freaks go so I can go ahead and walk along with them because y'all are boring as shit. I'm really getting over this puritanical culture of like you can't say this, you can't do this. That's the reason I'm never going to take ads on this podcast. When I first started this podcast, I really wanted to do ads, and well, not ads, but I wanted to do like maybe sponsorships, ad reads, things like that. Like I didn't want to do like mid ads, but I wanted to do like, you know, make a little money on the side. But the level of censorship and the level of like hand holding you have to do with a lot of people on the internet nowadays, I'm just not interested. Like if I say something and an ad company is like, "Hey, actually you can't say that and you have to say it that," oh, barf. Like there's so few corners of the internet that you can be on anymore that are, uncensored. And I'm not saying that these things shouldn't be, I think that the person who created that No Mercy game, I think that is utterly irresponsible. And I think that it's disturbing. I and by virtue of being a person who's perceived as a woman in this country, it is disturbing that there are people shelling out money to fictionally assault people. That is very disturbing to me. However, comma, I don't think the right answer is to overly police people's activity on the internet either. And I think that people are taking the outrage from this situation to then project it into further censorship. and it's disturbing to me. We're already in late capitalism, early American fascism in this country, and this is only making it like they're only emboldening the right more and more. And it just disturbs me because like a lot of these people are so hypocritical. Like they'll say the things that they say, and they sign the legislation that they do, and they do all this other kind of stuff, and they are the same people who are hitting up sex workers, hitting up trans and gay sex workers specifically, while signing their rights away. The same people who are censoring our games and censoring our internet and censoring our books and making it seem as if like all the like it's disturbing. And if we were a little more, if we were even 3% more open as Western society, like open sexually, I'm not saying, oh, yes, come over and fuck my wife. I'm not saying anything crazy like that, but I'm saying like if we were just a little less tightly wound, I feel like we would be so much better for it. Or at least if the people in power were. Like we know most of them are, my partner brings this up all the time, but the time that the Republican National Convention was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Grindr shut down because there was so much activity on the servers that they couldn't handle it. It's like we know, we know, we know. Can you stop torturing everybody else just because they're a little more sexually liberated than you and just get with the program? That's not me. None of this is me defending cheating or, games where you can rape people. That's still fucking crazy. Again, when I say that I enjoy adult visual novels, they're not doing no shit like that in any of the stuff that I play. Um, I'm not defending Joji's weird relationship with this hypothetical person. I'm not defending any of those things. But what I am saying is that y'all sound like goddamn Mormons in these comments. Y'all sound really, really nuts in some of these comments. Some of the stuff that y'all are saying is like, whoa. Like, not to be that person, but I thought this was America. Like, what are we talking about? Like, y'all need to be put down like dogs. Y'all are degenerates. Y'all are disgusting. Even the way they talk about gooning. And this is something that has really been on my nerves. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to bring this up. Okay, gooning is not masturbation. I'm sorry if that's news to you, but that's not what gooning means, and that's not what it's ever meant. And the way that gooning has become mainstream, like my best friend told me that word back when we were in high school. That word has been in circulation on the internet since the early 2000s. It does not mean masturbation. It means somebody who is so obsessed with porn or sexual content or material that they sit and they just masturbate all day. So you being like, I am masturbating like in the middle of the night or like once a week or even once a day is not gooning. Gooning is I sat here and I got myself off 10 times in a row to the point that shit's hurting. Like, that's what it is. And the way that there are like 15-year-olds going around being like, "Oh, you're such a gooner for like, I don't know, seeing somebody's cleavage" is like weird and creepy to me. I don't know. I really don't like the direction nothing's going in. I think the internet is both too sexual and too censored, as is our culture, where it's like it's really uncomfortable how many people are just so comfortable with, like, saying certain things or, like, I don't know, man. I don't even know if this makes sense, and I know that my opinions here are a little controversial. I really hope that I didn't say anything too crazy. But to clarify, fuck astronomer. How long has it been since I started warning about AI? How we have fallen. Ugh. Remember when remember when ChatGPT first came out and I was like, I'm not a fan of it and like there's some plagiarism, but like I think that there are situations where you could use it, maybe to outline a paper. Do you remember that in like the first few episodes that I did? Oh my gosh, guys. The way that people have been about AI, but especially OpenAI, ChatGPT specifically, has been so weird. The way people have been like, I saw this guy on TikTok today that was like, guys, don't shit on AI art. I have ADHD, so I can't focus on things long enough to do art, so it helps me do art. Do you think that disabled people, specifically people with ADHD, just don't make art? They didn't make art prior to to November 2022? I've seen people being like, "Oh, I talk out my issues with ChatGPT because therapy is expensive." That's not a therapist, it's an echo chamber. It's just telling you what you want to hear. And then when you tell somebody that, they'll be like, "Oh, it's not because it actually calls me out on a lot of my shit." It's nobody's calling you out on anything. It's a language learning model. It's just regurgitating things that they think would be applicable to the situation. ChatGPT cannot think because it's not a person. Hello? The weird kind of hyper dependence on things like ChatGPT, um, AI in general has been so strange to watch. It's been so weird to watch the normalization of it. Even I love my homegirl down, but she sends me some AI bullshit every single day. And I'm like just one of those like AI generated like cat going through its day, like an anthropomorphic cat going through its day. I like it every time because this is my friend, but high key, she knows how anti AI I am. I really want to be like, why do you keep sending me this? This looks horrible. And also, the Amazon rainforest is gonna burn down because you just like you didn't do it, but the person who generated it unnecessarily used all of that water to do it. And it's like, why? There was a point that I was like optimistic about climate change. I know that sounds fucking crazy, but like I really was. I really was like, we are advanced enough as a society, as a species. We understand the harms that we've done with this planet and we're going to do everything in our power to reverse it. It's funny talking about it now because I really can't believe I was that optimistic about anything. The way that people will be like, "Okay, but funny animation on the screen." So there. And there's like Memphis, Tennessee, there are black residents that are going without clean water because the AI center near them is like sucking up all the water and making it unrecyclable. It's just funny. It's funny the ways in which I've seen people completely discard their morals and their better judgment in defense of AI when it's like everything that you're talking about that, oh my gosh, like I just can't do this thing. It might be more inconvenient to do that thing, but you can do this thing. You know why? Because people were doing it prior to AI's implementation into everything. I have found there's no excuse that I have found that works for me. I have people in my life that heavily use AI regularly and they talk to me about it and every excuse they give, I'm like, "I'm sorry, I just don't care. It's literally killing the planet." It's killing the planet and it's a plagiarism machine, and if all of that wasn't bad enough, it's also replacing people in their jobs. people already think that my degree is useless and my line of work is useless. And now the tech billionaires have found a way to lobby the federal government so that it can be like systemically useless. Like, I don't think we understand how much of this stuff is like decided upon by our government. Is gender studies actually a useless degree? Or is it the fact that we have such a chokehold on people who practice this stuff because we've decided that other things are more important? I think a lot about how ICE agents, they make a lot of money a year, and like you can sign on as an ICE agent right now and get like a five-figure, sign-on bonus right this second that puts you well over the earning potential of, like, any, like, homemade nurse or, like, elementary school teacher. It doesn't necessarily mean that those jobs aren't, like, worthy or important. It just means that we are building a society in which it's more important to hunt down human beings, kidnap them, and deport them from their homes than it is to teach them or give them healthcare. So it's just like how much of this stuff is actually useless and how much of this stuff really can be replaced by AI. It kind of just feels like it's a symptom of a sick society that we're not willing to put money and genuine labor and genuine humanness into this. I feel like we're actively losing our humanity the more and more that we depend on AI. I used to be a really big fan of Duolingo. I love Duolingo. I really, really did. And I had a Duolingo streak that was well over 1,000 days. I think I was getting close to like 1,200 days or something. And I stopped and I not only canceled my subscription, but I deleted all of my data from Duolingo because on April 28th of this year, they announced that they were going to become an AI first company. And so they're just utilizing AI to teach people languages. And it's like language is so deeply human. Even English, when I talk, I'm speaking in English right now. But even the English that I'm speaking is heavily flavored by AAVE because I am an African American who grew up in a lot of African American context. I have Haitian Americans in my family. I have people from both the South and the Northeast in my family. A lot of my dialect and a lot of my slang is flavored by that. And a lot of my understandings of like internet slang, Gen Z slang, which is basically just AAVE, is flavored by the fact that I grew up in these spaces and like a lot of African American vernacular English is kind of like directing the conversation around a lot of these things. So it's just like those are deeply, deeply human. The fact that there are tech bros that think that that could just be replaced with robots is so disheartening, and it's disrespectful to the institutions of learning and education and humanity as a whole. It's just very frustrating with how much people wish to be inhuman nowadays. Um Another argument I've heard is like, oh, reacting poorly to AI is like someone with a rotary phone reacting badly to a smartphone. I think that analogy is pretty good because your phone really is supposed to just make calls. I text people and I'm on social media and all these things, but I do think life would be a lot easier if you just had to, use your phone just to call people. Maybe that's a little old fashioned of me, but they say it as a dig. They say like, oh, if you don't get with the times, you're going to be left behind. I don't think we need to get with AI. I don't understand why there are so many people who are just so willingly able to accept AI into their lives. They're like, oh, our government, which has never lied to us and has never misled us in any way, shape, or form, wants us to implement AI into every single facet of our lives. They want it on our smartphones, they want it on Google, they want it in our emails, they want it in our Microsoft Word scrapes your documents for AI. Um, Adobe Photoshop, their new like privacy policy makes it so that you understand as you're using the product that you are actively training their AI generation and that your materials may be used to generate people's images in the future. Um, Google Doc everything Google is really scary right now, but Google Docs wants to scrape your information for AI. Spotify couldn't give half of a shit about any of the stuff that it's giving you. All of their playlists are AI generated. Some of the music on the playlist are AI generated. The DJ that they give you to like go through your different tunes is AI. I just had to delete my Spotify and stop paying Spotify Premium because the CEO donated like nearly $700 million, not donated, I'm sorry, invested nearly $700 million into a AI fueled like defense system or something fucking crazy that's just like what is wrong? I can't just listen to Carly Rae Jepsen's Emotion. I have to be funding like genocide, future genocides by robots in order to listen to this. That's really nuts. Um all of these different things where it's just like OpenAI just secured a $200 million contract with the United States military, but you have people that will sit there until they're blue in the face being like, it's just a helpful tool. It's a helpful tool that the tech billionaires want us to constantly use and constantly train without our knowledge so that it can then replace our jobs. Is that not terrifying? And you want me to give you a pass for using it because oh I have a neurodivergence that many people have, or oh I just feel like why can't it makes writing emails so much easier. You just use 70 gallons of water to write an email that you could have just looked up some words on thesaurus.com and thought it out. I don't know, I really feel like we're reaching a point where AI dependence is atrophying the brain. And I think that, like, a lot of the things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, specifically if you were, like, a office worker, like, you sit in an office and you look at a computer, that just those things are fucking normal. "Oh, AI can figure this out in 2 seconds, and it would've took me 15 minutes." What else are you doing? Most people in office jobs don't have real jobs anyway. What are you doing that you can't take 15 minutes out of your day to think? You really need to send them a AI generated email because you can't think for like 3 seconds? I don't know. It's just stuff like that where it's just like, "Guys, when are y'all gonna wake up?" And people always act like I'm so strange for being so oppositional to AI, and I just don't understand the allure of it. I'll give you one example as to where it kind of felt bad to be quote unquote ethical. I've been asked to write an article for a journal, and it's a journal that I really, really want to be involved in. I really hope that I am able to be published in this journal. And they literally like they wanted me to write 6,000 words because I told them that I would write 6,000 words. I don't know what Vic was thinking when they said that, but I told them I would write 6,000 words in a month. What Vic was thinking when they said that was that I already have something written up and I was going to publish that, but I didn't want to do it without the permission of the co-author. And so I was waiting for the co-author to email me back and he never did. So I never got an email back. So I was like, okay, I got to write this all by myself. And I agreed to the 6,000 word figure prior to realizing that I would have to write it all by myself in a month. And I got through 4,000 words. And after those 4,000, I really sat there and I was like, man, I would love to just generate the rest of the shit on, sorry, that was a big shake. I would love to just generate the rest of this shit on ChatGPT and be done with this because the level of anxiety that this is giving me is so utterly humiliating. It is humiliating how bad it feels and how horrible it feels to be this stressed out about a paper so far past being in school, because I haven't been in school now for almost a year. No, no, Vic, no, 2 years, 2 years, 2 years. I graduated from grad school 2 years ago. Um, so having deadlines and like hard deadlines, that's just a hard thing for me to do. And my brain did go to Chat GPT for a second. I was like, it would be so easy to just open it up and generate something. And I didn't, because I rather turn in shit than turn in something that's AI generated. And I'm recognizing and realizing that I think for the most part that I'm surrounded by people that feel the same way, but some people really don't, and it's very sad. It's very sad to watch the constant lack of humanity and constant lack of care for your fellow human being that I am witnessing constantly. It's just very frustrating. I don't know. So yeah, update, still hate AI, and I'm never gonna get to a point where I think that it's okay. Sorry. If it wasn't, it's already bad enough that it's just a big plagiarism machine, but on top of all of that, it's also killing the world. Like I said, I used to be optimistic about climate change at one point during COVID lockdown, when all the carbon emissions were falling and everything. I was like, wow, maybe people will see this and will implement things post lockdown. No, no, no. And then AI came out. It's really, really bleak. Thank you guys so much for consistently listening and reaching out and letting me know that you heard the latest episode whenever I do see you. And just have a good one. There's only so many things in this world that genuinely make me happy. And if you have something in your life that's making you happy right now, run into that full force and please embrace it while you can. But yeah, thanks for listening to me yap, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye, y'all.